What up, YouTube? It's me, Riz Ill, back on the channel with another reaction, doing some weird shit with my feet because I'm trying to look really cool as I do this intro. Today we're gonna be doing a stand-up comedy reaction, and this one is George Carlin again, back on George Carlin's shit, and this one is titled George Carlin Saving the Planet. Wonder if I'll put up the thumbnail for this one. A lot of these George Carlins are very like bad quality. I don't know whether they were recorded in the 1980s or some shit, bro. But a lot of the stuff he's saying is still relevant to today, which is like sort of proof that like no matter how much life and human society and civilization changes and evolves, a lot of shit due to human nature and natural human habits are pretty much the same. You know, how we treat each other, etc. It's pretty much the same. I mean, we got like philosophers and old emperors and all that shit who have sent shit, and not even sent shit, but like they've written books and passages from years ago, like thousands of years ago, and that stuff is still relevant today. That stuff, even advising on how to deal with people, is still relevant to today. So, hey man, whatever he's about to say right now, I'm pretty sure it's relevant to today. He seems like that type of character. So, without further ado, I'm sorry for my rambling. Let's get to it, man. George Carlin, make me laugh or provoke my thoughts.
See, I'm not one of these people who's worried about everything. You got people like this around you. Country's full of them now. People walking around all day long, every minute of the day, worried about everything. Worried about the air, worried about the water, worried about the soil. Worried about insecticides, pesticides, food additives, carcinogens. Worried about radon gas, worried about asbestos. Worried about saving endangered species. Let me tell you about endangered species, all right? Saving endangered species is just one more arrogant attempt by humans to control nature. It's arrogant meddling. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. Doesn't anybody understand that? Interfering with nature. Over 90%, way over 90% of all the species that have ever lived on this planet, are gone. They're extinct. We didn't kill them all. They just disappeared. That's what nature does. They disappear these days at the rate of 25 a day. And I mean regardless of our behavior. Irrespective of how we act on this planet, 25 species that were here today will be gone tomorrow. Let them go gracefully. Leave nature alone. Haven't we done enough? We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to pause. To even talk about this. But in terms of what he's saying, it's so true. But okay, before I get to the other stuff, maybe I'll get to the other stuff. In terms of the bees, I've recently seen that thing where people are literally they're trying to save the bees. I don't know, the bees are there's something wrong with the bees on Earth. They're close to extinction. I don't know what the hell is going on, bro. But apparently, I've never like known this. But bees are essential to our survival in terms of our ecosystem and like our way of life in terms of on this Earth. I don't know how bees are that important. I've never had anything against bees. Um, I have a lot against flies. No, it's not an African thing. Uh, no, they're just irritating as fuck. I hate flies. Flies are my pet peeve. I fucking hate them with a passion. And no, again, it's not because I'm African. Uh, but I wish the flies would go. You know what I'm saying? But I hear bees are essential and they're going so. And he's saying like that, and it's like people are trying to save them. I'm like, okay, if the bees do die, what's gonna happen? You know? Because even with the pandas, I don't think they really do anything for us, but we're trying to save them. And like they're literally dying anyway, off of literally, we didn't even do shit. They're just lazy. From what I've seen, I don't know what else in terms of that story but from what I've seen, every time I look at pandas, they're lazy as fuck. They don't want to do anything. They just want to lie around and eat bamboo and shit like that. And they don't have enough to help them survive. So humans literally build habitats and like take care of them just for them to be even more lazy fucks than they already are. Yes, I called a panda a lazy fuck, man. Fuck Poe, guys. Fuck the Dragon Warrior. Let that nigga die, bro. Because now every time I look at pandas, I'm like, nigga, at least lions and shit are going to hunt some shit, bro. Like, what the fuck do you have to offer on this earth, bro? Like, what? Hey, bro, let me stop. Continue.
And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet? I'm getting tired of that shit. Tired of that shit. Tired. I'm tired of fucking Earth Day. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalists, these white bourgeois liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths. People trying to make the world safe for their Volvos. Besides, environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. They don't care about the planet. Not in the abstract, they don't. Not in the abstract, they don't. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. They're worried that someday in the future they might be personally inconvenienced. Narrow, unenlightened self-interest doesn't impress me. Besides, there is nothing wrong with the planet. Nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. Difference. Difference. The planet is fine. Compared to the people, the planet is doing great. It's been here 4.5 billion years. Did you ever think about the arithmetic? Planet has been here 4.5 billion years. We've been here, what, 100,000? Maybe 200,000? And we've only been engaged in heavy industry for a little over 200 years. 200 years versus 4.5 billion. And we have the conceit to think that somehow we're a threat? That somehow we're going to put in jeopardy this beautiful little blue-green ball that's just floating around the sun? The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment by comets and asteroids and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages, everything, some plastic bags, and some aluminum cans are going to make a difference. The planet. The planet. The planet.
Again, another commentary. Yo, he's hitting us with so many gems. I'm gonna comment about everything else later. In terms of one thing he said in the middle, he's sort of right. I think like people that are into these things, and not even like people, let's not even put them in one section and start saying, oh no, these liberals or whatever, and then everyone starts pointing fingers, and then when it separates from factions, people start pointing fingers at races and all of that. Let's put that aside. I think human beings are so obsessed with these various things mostly because it has to do with affecting them and their lives. Like I said it in a previous reaction, I don't know what reaction I said it, but I was like, people don't care about anything or anyone unless it affects them. Like, no one gives a damn about you. Anyone around you, your friends and all, they don't give a damn about you unless it affects them. They don't admire you as like their favorite singer, their favorite whatever, unless it affects them and it somehow has an influence on how they feel about themselves. Because people are naturally selfish. So I think the only reason, like he said, somewhere in the middle of it, there, he was like, they are only doing this and are so obsessed with this because they're worried about themselves. Not even the entire human race. If they could do it where like everyone else would die and like they would be the only ones to survive, I believe they could do it. But they realize no, we all need to band together and save ourselves, and that's why they're doing what the fuck they're doing. They don't give a fuck about anyone else. They just give a fuck about yo, what's gonna happen in the future in case something happens and we don't know what to do, we might die. Whereas the planet has been going through this, like he said, for a while. He's actually opening my mind and giving me new information.
Planet isn't going anywhere. We are.
Yeah.
We're going away. Pack your shit, folks. We're going away.
Oh, shit.
And we won't leave much of a trace either. Thank God for that. Maybe a little styrofoam. Maybe. Little styrofoam. Planet will be here and we'll be long gone. Just another failed mutation. Just another closed-end biological mistake. An evolutionary cul-de-sac. The planet will shake us off like a bad case of fleas. A surface nuisance. You want to know how the planet's doing? Ask those people at Pompeii who are frozen into position from volcanic ash how the planet's doing. Want to know if the planet's all right? Ask those people in Mexico City or Armenia or 100 other places buried under thousands of tons of earthquake rubble if they feel like a threat to the planet this week. How about those people in Kilauea, Hawaii, who build their homes right next to an active volcano and then wonder why they have lava in the living room? The planet will be here for a long, long, long time after we're gone, and it will heal itself, it will cleanse itself, because that's what it does. It's a self-correcting system. The air and the water will recover, the earth will be renewed, and if it's true that plastic is not degradable, well, the planet will simply incorporate plastic into a new paradigm, the earth plus plastic. The earth doesn't share our prejudice towards plastic. Plastic came out of the earth. The earth probably sees plastic as just another one of its children. Could be the only reason the earth allowed us to be spawned from it in the first place. It wanted plastic for itself. Didn't know how to make it. Needed us. Could be the answer to our age-old philosophical question, why are we here? Plastic. Assholes. So, the plastic is here, our job is done, we can be phased out now, and I think that's really started already, don't you? I mean, to be fair, the planet probably sees us as a mild threat, something to be dealt with, and I'm sure the planet will defend itself in the manner of a large organism, like a beehive or an ant colony can muster a defense. I'm sure the planet will think of something. What would you do if you were the planet trying to defend against this pesky, troublesome species? Let's see, what might, viruses. Viruses might be good. They seem vulnerable to viruses. And viruses are tricky, always mutating and forming new strains whenever a vaccine is developed. Perhaps this first virus could be one that compromises the immune system of these creatures. Perhaps a human immunodeficiency virus, making them vulnerable to all sorts of other diseases and infections that might come along. And maybe it could be spread sexually, making them a little reluctant to engage in the act of reproduction. Well, that's a poetic note. And it's a start. And I can dream, can't I? See, I don't worry about the little things. Bees, trees, whales, snails. I think we're part of a greater wisdom than we will ever understand. A higher order. Call it what you want. You know what I call it? The big electron. The big electron. Whoa. 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 It doesn't punish. It doesn't judge at all. It just is. And so are we. For a little while. Thanks for being here with me for a little while tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You in New York City, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And take care of somebody else. Thank you. Good night.
This dude is incredible, guys. This dude is, man. Does George Carlin have like a book that I can read, or a book that I can like? Does he have like a book that's been translated into an audiobook that I can maybe download or whatever? Cause this dude, bro, his thought process and the things that he says is truly incredible. Even in terms of like what he's, hey man, I have so many thoughts. This guy has really opened my eyes to some shit, because honestly, a lot of this stuff, especially when people are stressing about global warming and the environment and everything, for the most part, I'm on the side of the people who, like, we hear it, but we don't really pay attention to it. We don't really care, because it's like, what are we gonna do? It's not like I contributed to global warming or intentionally contributed. I mean, I remember back in primary school, I used to be part of the environment club, and we used to do a lot of environment things and stuff. We used to get in on the local news all the time, and and my mom still keeps newspaper extracts. I was in the newspapers and shit, like a part of that stuff. and like they instilled a lot of things that are still apparent to me today in terms of like even littering. I literally, guys, I can't voluntarily litter because of what I learned as a child. And they didn't even just teach me or force me to learn it, they just taught it. And then as a child, I naturally like was interested in shit, so I naturally acquired what they taught me. And I don't think that's if you're a teacher, I don't think you know how much influence you have on kids, you know. Maybe your jobs can get tedious at times, maybe you feel like you're not going anywhere, you're not getting anywhere, and it's the same old, but you never know how you influence and impact a child. Because for the life of me, I don't think those teachers knew how much they impacted me. Maybe they didn't know how, or they didn't care, but I can't litter for shit, guys. Like every time I see, like I litter or something, I have to pick it up, or I see litter, I have to pick it up, I have to put it in the trash, I have to, you know, it's getting even harder because I'm in Kenya, and Kenya isn't like where I grew up in South Africa, where there's like public like dust bins and public trash places where you throw the trash, and you know, like Kenya isn't like they haven't put that yet. So like it's ill, bro. But like basically, in terms of that, I it's I'm basically saying like I'm one of those people who like yes, I'm aware of things, but I feel like I don't know how to really help, and I haven't done anything wrong, so I don't really pay attention to these things. So I haven't really thought of these things, even though they come and say, oh, we might die in like, I don't know, one time they say we might die in a couple of years, the next time they say we might die in 4 billion years. The sun is gonna explode in 4 billion years. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, are we even gonna fucking care about then? How much will our like descendants have multiplied just from like me? Like me, you, whoever is watching this, you'll have sex right now and you'll have maybe 1 or 3 kids. By the time it's 4 billion years, your offspring will have multiplied to like maybe 7 billion people or some shit. Who knows, bro? With the way we fuck, and if you Indian, it probably like multiplied to 14 billion. I don't know, but I can say that I have Indian friends. I can say that they know I'm not racist. But like, how should we even care about these things when we really have no? It's like we not. I think George Carlin is right, guys. I've never really thought about this, but I don't think we are that much of a threat to the planet. We are a threat to ourselves, even in terms of like nukes. Like people talk about like nukes, right? Like nuclear weapons of mass destruction, setting the atmosphere on fire, etc., ending all life as we know it. We will end our lives as we know it. Cockroaches will survive. There'll be a couple of things that will survive, and after we blow ourselves up, the earth will go on. Literally, we can't really destroy it. We're not that much of a threat. The earth will go on and we will just disappear and die. So a lot of this stuff, he is kind of right. It mostly has to do with our own self-preservation and our own fears of dying. Because even when we are gonna die, any eventually, in maybe like 50 years and maybe 10 years, some of you will die tomorrow. Like I'm looking at you right now. You're probably watching this. You might die tomorrow. Um, but it's fucking scary, right? But at the end of the day, we still, even after like we might die tomorrow, like you're still thinking into the future in terms of people that haven't even met you, you don't even care about, they don't really even care about you. Like I love my kids and they aren't even born yet, if I ever have kids. But who says like I really care about them like that? You know, I feel like a certain love, but who knows if it's true? Who knows whether I really love my grandkids? Who knows whether I love my great grandkids? And if it's great grandkids, honestly, right now I can confirm to you guys, I really don't give a fuck. I don't know what to do. It's out of my hands. So like he's sort of right. A lot of this stuff is mostly like our own self-preservation and our own like selfishness and our own feeling like, oh, we gotta like, I gotta look out for myself, you know. I gotta look out for myself. Even like with these animals that they're mentioning, we gotta save. They're mostly mentioning them because we need them. What happens to the animals that we didn't need? You know, they say rhinos are almost extinct, but people are still shooting the fuck out of them. You can get a license to shoot rhinos. You can get a license to shoot lions in Tanzania. You can do a lot of shit, bro. You can pay off people to kill animals that are literally going extinct. We don't really give a fuck unless it's affecting us. And this man is truly a great mind without even trying. That's been me. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notifications, and discuss below. I am glad I got to have this time with you guys today. And you take care. Cheers.
I'm about to enter a zone, enter a dream. Chubby my pockets and lean. I pull the trigger, it sings. American Idol, never stay idle in things. But there's a nail in your coffin, ever so